The problems for the Toronto Raptors this season are very real, and if this doesn't change, it's only going to get worse. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody, this is Amateur Hour Sports, the YouTube channel that is dedicated to Toronto Raptors content and videos just like this, as well as live stream watch-alongs and some extra YouTube shorts. If you like the Raptors, you're going to love Amateur Hour Sports, so get subscribed to the channel today, help me on my road to 16,000 subs, and smash that like button if you enjoyed this one along the way. There's going to be some stuff that you may not want to hear, but it's stuff that you do need to hear about the Raptors. After yesterday's embarrassing loss to the Portland Trail Blazers, the Raptors lose 99-91 into what might be the very worst team in the NBA this season. Like, there's some solid players there. DeAndre Ayton's a good player. Malcolm Brogdon clearly is a good player. He played very well against us yesterday. And despite that, there's not really any bottom feeder in the league this season. That very well might have been the worst team in the league. They came into the game with the second worst half-court offense in the entire NBA, only to, guess who? The Toronto Raptors. The Raptors against the Trailblazers, who don't have a good offense and don't have a good defense, didn't even sniff 100 points in this game. And in fact, the Raptors, even having played an overtime game this season, are the only team in the NBA to still have not reached 110 points at any point in the season so far. So what are the real problems for this team? How are things going so wrong? Is it coach? Is it personnel? What is it that the Raptors can change to make this season better? I mean, we're only 4 games into the season. I get it. Don't want to overreact. Only 4 games into the season, go crazy after 4 games, but we haven't seen any evidence to suggest this is going to get better. We haven't seen any evidence to suggest that this is not going to be somewhat of the norm for the Raptors. Sure, they're not going to go 4 of 29 from 3 in every game as they did last night, but we have certainly seen this team showcasing an inability to score from beyond the three-point line, and I don't see any way in which that's not going to continue. The biggest problem for the Raptors this season is flat out they don't have players who can space the floor. We knew it all offseason. We saw it. We saw it all offseason. The roster in general did not have enough shooting, and we saw specifically with the starting lineup, like in the modern NBA, you can't really get away with 2 non-shooters being on the floor at the same time, and the Raptors pretty much have 4 in the starting 5. Schroeder, yeah, he can shoot, only catch and shoot, and he's a low 30% scorer from 3. Siakam can hit multiple types of three-pointers, but is a low 30% three-point shooter. Scotty Barnes improving this season, it seems, but I think that the most realistic thing we can expect is a low 30% three-point percentage this season. Jakob Poeltl flat out doesn't shoot. The only player who can shoot effectively and efficiently in the starting 5 for the Raptors is OG Anunoby, but he can only hit them off of catch-and-shoot opportunities. So when we have that starting 5 out, and OG goes 2 of 9 from 3, we have nothing that can help us recover there. The most important floor space from the Raptors this season really needs to be Gary Trent Jr. because he's the only one who can consistently, reliably hit movement threes. Come off of a screen, peel up for a 3. It's not just a catch and shoot once for Gary Trent, even a little bit off the dribble as well. Gary Trent can knock down 3s. But how do we have a game where what I deem probably the most important floor space from the team only takes 1 3. He took 1 3-pointer against Portland yesterday. He didn't even make it, by the way. Took 7 shots, only made 1. Gary Trent is not an interior player. He can't put pressure on the rim. He has a limited bag in mid-range. We need him to take 3s. He only took 1. Is that Gary not playing well? I think a lot of it is that coaching as well. I think part of it is certainly. We have Grady Dick, who was a big acquisition in the draft because we desperately need floor space. We desperately need movement shooters, but he's clearly not a player who's ready to take on a huge load of NBA minutes. That will come. I have faith in Grady Dick, but the fact that we have to put so much reliance on Grady Dick out the gate to be a significant part of our offense for floor spacing showcases how poorly this team was equipped and prepared by the front office to go into this upcoming season. So you look at the team, you look at the Raptors having the worst half-court offense in the NBA. They're averaging 77 points per 100 possessions. That is terrible. It's 4 points worse than the second worst half-court offense in the NBA, which is, as I said, the Portland Trail Blazers. So clearly we've identified the problem here. Our half-court offense sucks, and it sucks because we can't space the floor. We can't provide additional space to Scotty Barnes on the inside, who's having an amazing season. We can't give extra space to Pascal Siakam on the inside, who His inside game has brought him 2 All-Star appearances and 2 All-NBA appearances. So we certainly have the top tier players. We certainly have the talent on this team. We're certainly more talented than Portland Trailblazers, but even still, like, even the Blazers having a bench full of players, even the above average NBA fan has no idea about. Even the starting 5 being young, inexperienced, not having played together much. Even with all of that, they have an offense that makes at least some semblance of sense with an interior threat like DeAndre Ayton and with shooters, which allows Brogdon to slash seemingly like every play to the rim uncontested by this Raptors defense, which has been a great defense this season and remains to be a great defense. Guess what? For the 3rd time in regulation this season, we have kept a team to under 100 points, but yet the Raptors now sit at 1-3. So the clear issue with the team, not enough spacing, which leads to a bad half-court offense. So the biggest thing that needs to change is spacing, and Darko Rajakovic in his post-game press conference highlighted this specifically. We need more spacing. We need more spacing in order to have a potent half-court offense, but it's easy to say we need spacing. Where is that spacing going to come from? As I mentioned, the roster is definitively lacking in three-point shooters. It's definitively lacking in players who are going to space the floor. Yeah, like Barnes, Siakam, Schroeder, they're going to hit like a low 30% of them, but it doesn't mean a whole lot when you're hitting a low 30% and you're not really being guarded on the outside. Like I keep saying this season and all through the summer, it's not just about how much often you're hitting. It's not just about the percentage of shots that you're hitting. It's how much the defense is going to care about you when you're on the outside. Because if they're not really going to go out there and contest, it's not adding any sort of spacing to the team. Like it's great that when you were hitting shots, but if it's not spacing the floor, it's not doing a whole lot to the half-court offense in the grand scheme of things. And I said, and I questioned all throughout the offseason, like, I think we'll have a fun team here, but what is it going to look like in a late-game situation? Last 5 minutes when it becomes a half-court battle. We saw it against the Bulls on Friday, who, by the way, are not a good team either. They completely shut us down in late-game situations because we had no spacing, therefore we had no half-court offense. And we saw it yesterday against possibly the worst team in the NBA. If the worst team in the NBA can shut down the Raptors in the half court, what do you think the Bucks are going to do tomorrow on Wednesday? What do you think the 76ers are going to do the day after that on Thursday? We have a game at home against the Bucks and then a back-to-back trip, an away game against the 76ers. The Raptors are 1-3 and easily staring down 1-5. And the schedule doesn't get much easier after that. The 3 games following that are the Spurs, who are no pushover with Wemby on the team now. Then you have Dallas, who Doncic always seems to light up Toronto. He lights up every team. Then you have Boston after that. The Raptors are staring down the barrel of a 1-5 start to the season, and 3 more difficult games are going to follow this tough stretch of games, this tough back-to-back on the way. So we look at this team. It needs spacing. It needs this. It needs that. But where is that going to come from? We need more spacing, but we don't have the necessary players to provide that. I mean, if you're going to at least try to space the floor, continue to try and push the Grady Dick minutes, find out what the hell is going on with Gary Trent Jr. And my God, is Otto Porter that much of a black hole of this team that he's actually worse than Jalen McDaniels? I know he only played 5 minutes yesterday and only 3 minutes against the 76ers, but once again, I ask, what does Jalen McDaniels do? And what are the guys that are actually out there on the floor doing that would make Otto Porter, like that bringing in Otto Porter would be so much worse for this team? The last time I saw Otto Porter play genuine NBA minutes, and granted there's been an injury since then, the last time he got consistent NBA minutes, he was starting, mind you, in an NBA Finals for the championship Golden State Warriors. Like, you're telling me he's that bad, he's that out of shape, he's not up to conditioning right now, it's that bad that even with the bench that we're seeing, Otto Porter Jr. still can't play? So, I mean, maybe, look, we see Otto Porter, it's clearly not there, sure, but I'm really struggling to see a reason not to give him a shot considering the way the team is laid out. And the fact that I have to stoop low enough that I'm begging for Otto Porter Jr. minutes in 2023 showcases the dire situation going on in Toronto. The front office constructed a team last season with not enough spacing. We all knew it. The half-court offense was bad because there wasn't enough spacing. We had showcased throughout the season and really showcasing the play-in tournament game against the Chicago Bulls. So what did they do? The team got less spacing. The team got less shooting. And now we're seeing the half-court offense still isn't very good. So I don't know why we thought we could repeat the exact same thing that didn't work last year, except slightly worse. You take out Fred's shooting and spacing, replace it with Schroeder. Schroeder's a fine player. And look, for $20 million less, or on Fred's contract right now, for $30 million less, that's more than worth it to replace Fred with Schroeder. But to do that and then not use that extra 20, 30 million, whatever it was, to bring in shooters is a complete disservice by the front office to this team. And Darko Rajakovic right now seems ill-equipped to get around the fact that this team is missing shooters. I mean, I can't really blame him. Who could get a win out of a team producing 77 points in the half court per 100 possessions? Who could get a win out of a team who can't hit a three-pointer to save their life? Like, it's 4 games, I get it, but where is the improvement going to come from? That's the biggest thing I'm concerned about. Where is it going to come from? Is it going to be OG stepped up a bit more? Sure. Is it going to be Siakam not going 0 of 6 from 3? Sure, like these things are going to help, but even if like you consider what would be maybe the best case scenario, this is still a relatively inefficient team from 3, so it doesn't matter how good your defense is. If you can't even sniff 100 points against the worst team in the NBA, what does that tell you about yourself? You're not the team you thought you were, and you're really going to struggle to make the play-in tournament, let alone the playoffs, and you don't have a first-round pick you can realistically fall back on. It's a disaster start to the season. If the spacing doesn't improve, it's only going to get worse, but the bad news is, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't see any way it's going to improve. Look, it's not going to be 4 of 29 again. It can't be, right? Raptors, in all of last season, didn't have a game that bad from 3, percentage-wise. But I don't know where the improvement is going to come from. And because I don't know where it's going to come from, the Raptors are going to be prone to games just like this. I said after the Bulls game, we're going to be prone to games like this. Here we have another one, and I think there's a lot more on the way. It is a problem in Toronto right now, and I don't see it getting fixed anytime soon unless the front office take action, which they're not going to, so I don't see it getting fixed anytime soon. What do you think is the biggest problem with the Raptors this season, and what do you think is a way to fix it? Give me your answer in the comments down below. That's it for me for today. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I'll see you again very soon for another video.